All right, my friends, welcome back to another V Rising video. So one of the things that I've been struggling with on my most recent playthrough here is trying to figure out how best to get the materials we need in the end game that are required to get the final set here of the Dracula's armor set. So the thing that I keep running into, the material cost for these items is just kind of through the roof. Shadow Weave and Bat Leather are very expensive to make. So Shadow Weave involves 3 silk and 3 ghost yarn, which is a lot. The hardest part here for me personally is the wool thread, which however, it is hard to come by very, very quickly. But I will say one of the ways you can do this in a not so difficult fashion is if you have a garden going, just grinding, doing like 1 or 2 cycles of flowers that, when the flowers bloom, just grind them into pollen. And it's not too difficult, in my opinion, to just turn that into coarse thread. And then also just leather. It's not hard to come by leather. We usually have it, everyone usually has a ton of leather left over. And you can turn that into cloth, and boom, if you combine all those together, you can get a bunch of wool thread fairly easily if you're doing it that way. But the thing that I've been really struggling with personally is the bat leather and the pristine leather that you need to make the bat leather. It is 3 pristine hide or 2 bat leather, and you need, 36 bat leather just for your armor set. This is not even including servants, by the way, so keep that in mind. If this is just for you. So for everyone in your clan, you need 36 bat leather. So you can see how difficult that would be to come by all of the mutant grease. And that's not even including the Dawnthorn pieces that you have to craft, right? So you also have to craft Dawnthorn just to get here, which is another 9 a piece. So like 9 pristine leather a piece. So very quickly, this mutant grease adds up. And in my opinion, mutant grease is like by far the worst farm in the game. Gloomrot is just not super fun to deal with farming mutants. But they just don't drop it at a very high rate. Pristine hide, you can come over here in one night, farm up like over 1,000 pristine hide in the werewolf village. You also get tons of it in Cursed Forest while you're just kind of going around killing mobs. It's very easy to get. But mutant grease is like 10 mutant grease for 1 rat, You need 20 for a single pristine hide. So we're killing so many things there, and like I could farm here for a decent amount of time and come away with 700 mutant grease, which is like, okay, that's a nice chunk, but it's not going to get me where I need to be. So I was racking my brain for what I could do to try to like get a little bit more, squeeze out a little bit more mutant grease, and I remembered we have this little wonderful thing right here, which is the vermin nest. So what this thing does, you can put some items in here, and it will summon, usually like rats, that kind of thing. And in Gloomrot, what we used to use it for was silkworms, because back in the day, you could do a full run of Spider Cave and not come out with enough silkworms to make the silk you needed for your armor, for your whatever it's called, the silk for your Dawnthorn. But this time around, I was like, wait a minute, can we still use this for these rats here, right? So I'm going to show you how much we get for these really quickly. There we go. So if we're looking at this, this is about, oh, there's more guys here. Oh, we got more already. There's already more lined up here waiting for us. Let's go ahead and hit these guys. This is two cycles here, just 2 little summoning cycles here. And it gave us, there we go. It gives us 72 mutant grease per thing here, per kill, which is pretty good. But the thing that we need to use for this is sludge-filled canisters and grave dust, which is kind of expensive, but if you have a bunch of mats laying around from your whole grind, then it's not too difficult to come by these, with some glass and iron, and then just a tiny bit of mutant grease, so it's only 3 per. To get, basically, you spend 3 mutant grease, and you get 72 mutant grease, which isn't too bad. And finally, one of the strategies that people figured out with the Gloomrot patch that still works here is you can kind of farm these somewhat passively. If you have a servant who you can keep around this, as long as you're home, because if you kill these enemies, or if the servants kill these enemies while you're away, the items kind of stay on the ground and they just despawn. But if you're in the house, and you can just periodically check here, or in your castle anyway, you can periodically check whenever these things get summoned. Your servant should be fighting them. This is probably a terrible servant to fight these. There we go, doing some damage here. Yeah, they're gonna kind of murder her probably, if I had to guess. But yeah, so yeah, she's probably gonna die here. But that's okay, she died. But you can get the idea. If you have a servant strong enough to take these, which I would say doesn't have a lot of good armor and stuff on her, but if you have stuff that is good enough and strong enough to take these, you can actually passively farm these rats, and then just periodically while you're in your castle, just run back down here and grab all of the drops. So the thing that's going to be super nice about that is it just gives you the ability to kind of have this going while you're here. You just have to make sure that you come and turn this off whenever you leave, because otherwise these are going to get murdered and then you're going to lose all your drops. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful for you guys as you go throughout the game. I know it is, some of you may not even be towards the Dracula set here, but I promise you that as you get to this point, you're going to see just how much of the stuff you need, and I hope this is helpful when you get there. So anyway, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. And if you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe. But until then, we will catch you in the next one.